Good evening, everyone. Today's session is on strings in Python. What is the importance of strings, how we use strings, and how we take out the slice of a strings, how we do the indexing part in a string. So there are a number of things, there are a number of operations that we can perform on strings. So let's begin the session and understand the different functions that we can perform using strings. First of all, we need to understand what is a string. A string is a sequence of letters called characters. So you have like your name, right? It has some sequence of letters, right? That would be treated as a string, right? In Python, strings start and end with a double and single quotes. So basically, when we are defining the string, any letter, any name, it must be enclosed within single quotes or in double quotes, right? Like suppose here I have given one string that is given as showing hello, right? Now it should be enclosed in starting and it should be enclosed with double quotes, right? Same like it is printed on the screen. This is the output. Here we can also use single quotes for that, right? So there are two syntax, there are two things which we can use for defining our strings. That could be a single quote or that could be a double quote, right? For defining any characters, for displaying the messages on the uh, screen also, like with printf function we can use the strings part only, we can give the message in double quotes, right? So let us understand how we use the strings in Python, right? Each string is stored in the computer's memory as a list of characters. Now like we have a name, right? That name cannot be like stored one character somewhere else and one character somewhere else and one character somewhere else. So it cannot be possible to store the different letters, the different characters in a string, right? And we have to have a simple thing which is containing all the characters, right? Suppose I am talking about a variable which is my string, right? And it is holding a string that is enclosed. I told you it should be enclosed within double quotes or in single quotes, right? And it must be like if you are showing any string, so it must be like starting part should be start with one single quote and the ending part should also be enclosed with uh, double quotes, right? So either you can use the single quote or you can use the double quotes for defining the strings. Right. Now let us see how it is stored in the memory and what is the index for like storing the strings. So this is your variable, right? This is your variable where you have stored the string, and in the memory the starting index of the string would be 0, right? And then 1, then 2, then 3 and so on, whatever like till what characters you have, right? So here we are storing the different letters, different characters of a string. So like it is stored like this, like you have given one variable and you have stored a string name like this, right? Now you have stored those characters like 0 for G, 1 for A. You are basically dividing these letters and how they are storing in the memory like this. We have to maintain the indexing of a particular letter also. Like for this letter, this is a single letter. This is a single alphabet, single character from this particular string, right? We have not stored like in 0 all the characters, right? We have to store like this, one character, one letter, right? Then another index, another letter, then next index, next letter. It should be stored like this, right? And the index should be start from 0 till whatever your length of the string is. So this is how we store the different characters in a string. Now let us see how we access it. Like I told you, this is our 0 index, right? We are starting with this. This is our 0 index, then 1, then 2, then 3 and so on. So here also, like if I'm going to ask for variable name, and the index is 0. So it would be representing the first character, that is G. That would be G. And if it is 1, that would be A, this one. Right, so this is how we can access the single characters within the string part. So you can access the individual characters by using indices. What is the indices? Like whatever the index we are using in square brackets. So yes, it is very very important to have a look on square brackets also. Whenever we are trying to use the index part, we need to write down like this, right? Whatever the index is, you cannot write like this. So this is basically meant for any function. You cannot use parentheses. Instead of that, you have to use the square brackets whenever you have to access the index part. So whatever your like string name, and then you can write down the index. Right. Suppose I want to access the 0 index element, so I would be writing 0. If it is 1, then you can take it 1. So this is how we access the different characters in a string. Now, let us move to the next part. Let me remove this part. So before, like you have seen each and every indices you have used also, like we are using in a index part also, right? Now this is some like whenever we have to use the sometimes we have to use it like this. Let me show you the working of this part also. Now, you can access individual characters by indices in square brackets. So let us see how it works and how we have the negative part also. So I have not explained the negative part. Let me explain you the negative part also. So I told you first index would be 0, then we have 1 and so on, right? If I am going to have our, if I want to access from here, from this side, it would be treated as a negative index, and the last index of this particular element would be minus 1. So it works like this: minus 1, then you have minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, and so on. So if you are using simple default indexing, it would be starting from the this side, right, the starting of the letter. And if you are using like this side, and it would be the index would be starting from 0, and if you are starting from the right hand side, from the negative indexing part, it would be starting from minus 1. So this is what the difference between like you can access from left side also, and you can access from right side also. Negative indexes starts indices start at the end of the string and move left. So it works like this. I told you it works like this, whereas when we have positive indexing, we will be moving like this part, right? So here we have like g0, like string. My string is g0, so it would be g. If it is 1, then a. If it is minus 1, then left, your right side, the very most this side, a. This is your this side, right? And then if you have the my string minus 2, that would be your C character, that is after A. So this is how we have the indexing part, including the default indexing and including the negative indexing. Now let's have a look on accessing substrings. How we can access a slice of a string. How can we access a part of a string? How can we access a you may say different characters from a string, right? So let us start with this. So you have the string, the same string I have taken, right? And it is stored in the memory starting with 0 and till 6. Okay, and you have stored their different characters. Now if I am going to start with 1 and 3, so my index would be like this, starting with 1 and moving till 3. So 3, index 3 is not included, right? The starting part would be included. This is the start index, that is 1, and you have to use colon for like this is the syntax for having a starting range and the ending range. And ending range, if you are putting it as 3, so 3 is not included, right? Suppose if you are not putting anything here in this part and you are putting only 3 here, so what it happens, it would be like starting with 0. So by default, if you are not putting 0, if you are not putting the starting point, it would be treated as 0. And same as ending point, whatever your index, last index is, so your last index would be 6. So it is including 6 because you have not mentioned anything here. So it is included, starting with 4 and ending with 6, right? So here we have another part, 3 to 5. So 3 to 5 is like this. uh, First of all, let me tell you the both of things. uh, Dash colon 3. So dash colon 3 would be like this, 0 to 3, that means 2. Next is starting with 4 and ending with the at the end of the string, so it would be 6. Then if you have mentioned 3 to 5, then 3 would be this, and 5 would be, 5 is not included. 3 and 4, two elements will be printed on the screen, right? Whatever characters we have. Again, if we have not given anything, so it is treated as your strings part. All the string complete, starting with 0 and ending with 6. So if you are putting nothing in the substrings part, so it would be treated as a complete string. So this is how we can access the substrings in a string, right? Next we have is special characters. What are special characters? Special characters have the special meanings also. Like we can have escape sequence, and it must be enclosed in double quotes, right? So here we have wow, we have written wow, or you may be writing any backslash to introduce any of the escape sequence, right? So here we are using backslash. So this is the syntax. Let me tell you, this is the first part, right? And this is the second part. Okay, same, this is single quote, means for everything we need to put backslash, and then whatever you want to print, you can print it here as a skip sequence. If you print double quotes, you may print it double quotes. If you want to insert a new line, you can write it in tab t. So this is how we can write skip sequence in our string part, right? So here we have shown the different indexes, like how it works. If we are putting the slash part, then it is going to work. And sometimes it happens like you have started with double quotes, right? And here you are ended with double quotes. So it is not going to give you any error. Whereas when we have this part, double quotes here, and again you have put double quotes within double quotes, so it might be possible it is going to give you an error, right? Because you have enclosed within, that does not makes any sense. So yes, you can do it with the help of escape sequence, because it would be giving you an error part. So how to remove this error part? We can have a this part, slash double quotes you may use, and then slash double quotes. So this string would be printed in double quotes, but using escape sequence, that is this one. This escape sequence it is using for printing it. So this is how it is printed on the screen, right? Yes. So I hope you have understood the usage of escape sequence. Now let us see some of the functions that we have in our string. The first part we have is like, I have taken a variable which is containing a value banana, right? And then I'm going to find out the length. I'm going to use the length function for calculating the length of this variable. So here we have banana. Now the length of the banana would be BANAN, right? That is 6. So 6 will be printed on the screen, right? And uh, this length function basically calculates the number of characters in a string, like this. So there are six characters. There are six characters in a string, right? So and then you are going to print it on the screen, right? So here we this is the usage of the len function. Our function is stored some stored code that we use, and a function takes input and produces an output. So what do you mean by a function? Function is anything which is taking an input, processing it, and gives you the output. So here comes the input thing, right? And this is the function we have, and this is the output which we get from the function, right? That is 6, right? How it works, it is going to take the variable as a argument. So here we are putting the argument, like as you have seen, this is the length function, and this is the variable where you are storing your string, right? This variable is holding a string, that is banana, and calculating the length of the string. Now let us see how we concatenate two strings. What do you mean by concatenation? Concatenation is when you are joining two strings, right? Suppose I am talking about a string that is hello, and I want this hello to be added with some other message, right? So I may be using a plus sign, or you may say it would be treated as a addition operator, right? For adding, for concatenation of two strings. So when plus operator is applied to strings, it means concatenation. Whatever you want to add, you can add it, like we have addition of numbers, right? So here we have addition of, you can't add strings to each other, but you can concatenate the strings to each other. So how is it possible? With the help of plus sign. With the help of plus sign, you can easily merge two strings. Let us see how it is possible. So here we have a plus sign, right? Which is basically, let me tell you. So a variable is holding a string value, that is hello. B variable is basically concatenation between two variables. So a is your hello part, and then you are adding, concatenation, adding, addition operator you have used, and then you have taken another message, another string to add with that. So now you are going to print the B part. So it is going to print like hello there, right? Again we have another string, that is C. C will be holding a value A. What is this? This is a space. This is what? Dub Only double quotes is there. So it is a space. Space plus your, yes, this is a message that is going to be printed on the screen, that has some space part also. So hello space there, right? So this is how we have a concatenation of strings. Okay, so let us see another part. Let us see another example, in which another example is containing your different parts, like when we have the search in a within a string, or you may say when you want to replace the replace in a string, you might be using the search and replace functions, right? So let us start with this part also, how it works, how we have the different things in our program. So the replace function is basically talking about it is it is searching the any word, right, from a sentence, and then it replaces it with that particular word. Now how it searches and how it replaces, like, so it is going to have like this. Here we have is our a variable that is holding hello Bob, right? Now I want this part of a string is replaced by something else. So how it is going to happen, how it is going to be replaced, let us see. So we are what we have to use again. This is a variable name dot. This is the how to call this function, how to access this function. Dot replace is the function which takes two arguments, the first, the thing which you want to replace, and the string from which you are going to, like, it replaces with the string, the new string which is going to be added in the your previous string. So this is how it replaces. This is the old string, right? Old string which you want to replace, and the string to be replaced by is written in the next argument, right? Then you just print the string part, right? So it would be like printed on the screen like this. Again, if you want to replace O by X character, so you may do so. You are saying wherever you have O in the string, it should be replaced by the character that is X. So we have hello O and Bob O is replaced by X. So this is how it is like shown in the example. It replaces all occurrences of the string search string with the replacement string. This is how it actually works. Now let us see some more functionalities that we have covered and how it works, right? So directly also we can use it, the length function. In the length we have given any string, like a complete string is given as an argument, or it is obviously, if it would be a string, then it must be enclosed in a double quotes, right? And as I told you, string always gives you, it counts the number of letters in the string and then gives you the length of the string, right? So here what we are doing, we are calculating the length 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, right? So it is going to give you a number that is 7. So length always gives you the number of letters from a particular string, right? Then we have concatenation. Now what is concatenation? Concatenation basically talks about the addition of two strings, right? So the addition of two strings, that means you are using add operator, right? Now if what else, like if you want to repeat, if you want to print the a number of times, how many times? That is 10. So you can use multiplication or asterisk sign for basically having the repetition part, if you want to print the repetition part. So let's have another function that is in Python. A method is a function that is defined with respect to a particular object. Suppose I am going to access any variable and any method. So method is nothing more than that we have understood a function. So what is a method? Method is a function, right? And you give parameters within functions. That's what I told you. You can have an object or you can have a variable to access that part. So in an object you have defined, or in a variable you have defined a string, right? And then you want to find, you are using a find function. It is not a user defined function, right? It is what? Yes, it is system defined function which you are calling in your program. So how like DNA dot find is how it comes to 3, it comes to 3 because string would be starting with, always it is going to start with 0. So 0, 1, 2, so it is going to give you the index of the particular character. That is, T would be coming in the index, that is 3. Now let us have some string methods in our program, how to use the different methods, the string methods in a program. First of all, we have understood what is find. Now we are finding ATT, right? And ATT is going to be start from the first. So it is going to give you the index of first. Count T. So there are two T's, 1 and 1. So count is a function for counting the letters in a string. That would be 2. Lowercase. Now if you want to make your string into lowercase, you might be using a function in other packages also, like in MS Excel. I usually use for making the cells information into lowercase, or if I want to convert that cell data into uppercase, I usually use with the help of lower function. You can lower the string, and with the help of upper function you can make it in a uppercase. Right, now we have just now replaced it, like replace G with U. Right, so this is whatever you want to replace, and this is the replacement string through which you are going to replace it. Again you are replacing C with U. So this is how it works. You are going to have, you can access it and you can update it as well. And then you have put 80 instead of writing anything. You have taken this 80 and you are putting them double asterisks. You can do so. And then starts with, this is another function which basically tells you it is going to check, yes, this string is starts with G, yes, so it is going to give you true value. Again I am going to ask, it starts with G, lowercase g. No. Why? Because Python is a case sensitive language. This G would be having an ASCII value, and this G would be having a different ASCII value in the memory. So that's why it is, they are treated as two different characters in the memory. Even though we know that both are G, but as computer understands the ASCII value, we have to convert it into ASCII value. So it would not be treated as a single, like the both the characters are same. No, it would be different in memory, right? So the both the ASCII codes, the ASCII code for capital letter G and the ASCII code for small letter g would be different. So I hope you have understood what are the different functions we have in a string, and what is a string, how we represent the string in memory, how we can access the letters of a string, and how we can calculate the length, how we can count, how we can find, how we can make it uppercase, how we can make it lowercase. So hope you have understood the topic and enjoyed the session. Hope you like the session. Thank you.